He like, come this address out of school. I'm like, these niggas finna kill me, man. Like, so I get the girl I talked to. I said, you got to go with me. He want me to meet at this address.
Not you gonna take the girl.
So I gotta take somebody. She from California, so she know what's going on.
One band, one sound. One go, we all go.
So I went. When I say I went, man, I never seen nothing like this day in my life.
Welcome to the 3rd episode of T.R.U.T.H Podcast. Y'all, God doing amazing things with T.R.U.T Podcast, and I'm so excited that I'm having amazing guests on T.R.U.T Podcast this season. And we're going to keep rocking on and doing our thing. Today we have the one and only Jacobie.
How you doing?
I'm fine. How you doing?
Happy to be here.
Amazing. So today we're just going to be talking about, his journey, how God saved him and what he got going on and how he doing amazing things in Birmingham, Alabama with his change. So what's up? How it all
going on? I can't complain. Happy to be here. God is doing some amazing things. Let's go. Whatever. I'm here for you. Open book, nothing off limits, whatever you want to ask, whatever the people want to hear, I'm open book.
We want to hear how your journey started. Like, where did your journey start for you to say, it's time for me to make a change in my life? You know what I'm saying? Your testimony, like, that's what we want to hear. We want to hear how God changed you. What made you say, I got to make this change, I got to turn around?
Well, like I told you when we talked on the phone, I found God at an early age, I want to say around 11 or 12. From 11 to 12, I was playing sports, basketball, football. I had the opportunity to play basketball in California, went to University of Maine. We get to a certain age, we think we can do it on our own. Right. And I got to a certain age, I think I do it on my own. But I feel like I got so far from God, I couldn't hear him no more. Like I said, from 19 to 35, I ran the streets, sold drugs. Anything you could think of, I did. I was heavy drinking lean every day, smoking, partying. September 23rd, 2024, I had a bad car accident. I had a car full of marijuana, fresh off the road. Car flipped like 5 times. So I knew then that day that, I was done. The following day, I got up, gave the weed away, told my folks, hey, man, look, I'm done. To the point they thought I was tripping. Like, bro, what you mean? I said, I'm done. I told them, yeah, you can pay me, you don't. If you pay me, it's cool. If you don't, it's cool.
Is that easy to get out the game? You just say, I'm done?
It was easy for me.
Right.
Because like I said, I ain't had no blood on my hands. I wasn't running from nobody. I ain't owed nobody.
Right.
Like I was in... My plugs to this day still call me. Like I was in good standing with my folks.
Right.
I was in good standing with the streets. Like I believe whatever you put out, you get back.
So that is that when God say it's your time, it's just time for you to get out of there. When he come to get you, he coming to get you.
Yeah. But it was just easy for me though, because like I said, like even much when I ran the streets, like I got busted twice. I had a good lawyer. I knew what I was doing when I was out there.
Right.
You got some guys get caught up and they get too far that they can't turn around.
Right.
And I felt like that at one point in time, like, man, if I turn around, somebody gonna get me. But I had to think though, like I never had nothing on my hand that couldn't make me not stop.
Right.
I did some things or, made some calls or something, but if it did because somebody did something to me,
right,
I was just getting money. I wasn't committing no crime. Say nowadays they got the game messed up. I was getting money. If you knew about me, you knew Jacobie was getting money.
That's all it was about. It was getting money. I ain't
getting
got
money to take care of my folks.
No bad blood. I'm just trying to get some money.
I was getting some money.
Right.
But I got a bad name because the dudes around me. Right. Like I was the brain.
Right.
But I had some dudes around me who was smackers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if somebody did something to me, they was going to see about it. So I got a bad name thinking that, oh, I did this, I did that. But I knew what I did.
Right.
It was easy for me to walk away from the streets because, like I say, I ain't have no ops. If a nigga ain't like me because either a girl like me or they was some haters.
Right.
Because I tell people all the time, I put more niggas on than Cash Money. Like, literally. From the east side to the west side to the north side to the south side.
Right.
So, I just want to see everybody around me win. Like, when I first got the plug, I was 19. So, all my little niggas was 14, 15. So, when I came back, I put all them on. So, I had the OGs in the hood mad. So, we was a young dude, we had it. So, like I said, it was easy to walk away because, like I said, I had 15 years from 19 to 35. I just turned 36 December 8th. I ain't never I went to jail, but I never went to prison. I never got robbed. I never had anything that these dudes go through in the streets. It was easy for me to walk away from the street. Because I tell people all the time, it's up and down. If somebody tell you and they hustling that they ain't up and down, then they ain't hustling for real.
Facts.
They ain't hustling
And that
for
ain't
real.
just on the streets. That's in business. That's period.
Yeah. So it was just like, I was just tired of going through that because people just tell you when they out here hustling and doing whatever they doing, they're just showing you the highlights.
Right.
When I say them the most darkest days of my life, but you couldn't tell from my appearance because I'm gonna be, every time you see me, I'm gonna have jewelry on, designer. I'm talking about, at one point in time, I had like 12 cars. Like, so you couldn't tell that I was going through,
Right.
but it was the most darkest days of my life.
That's crazy.
Like, most darkest days of my life.
So money can be the root of all evil.
Man, I'm talking about fighting depression, fighting demons, like really fighting demons.
Right.
You know, the girl I ended up marrying, my wife now, man, her was going through it, you know.
Right.
Because society try to tell you that you're missing something.
Right.
Because you out here, you know, you in and out of different beds and you traveling and you constantly moving. But like I tell people all the time, God constantly taunting us. He constantly taunting us, but we have a lot of stuff to distract. You get in the car, guess what? You turn the NBA Youngboy on. You turn the Lil Baby on. So you can't hear him because you got so much stuff around you that he constantly taunting us. He always taunting us. And we were so programmed to believe like things just happen. So when I sit down and realize, like God was telling me the whole time, like little film to business, but I think money can fix it. So when I sit down, I'm like, he gives us warning for destruction.
Right.
So when I sit down and, you know, went on my journey for like 6 or 7 months, I ain't do nothing. I read, I educated myself, I studied my family history, and I realized a lot of stuff I was dealing with because I ain't had that father figure. So it was a lot of rejection inside us. And I tell people all the time, me studying and learning, we all got rejection in us.
Mm-hmm.
And you got rejection from the stuff that we cause on ourselves, or we got rejection from stuff we must thought of.
Right.
So a lot of people don't know what they dealing with. Then you get to think, oh, this kid just angry, or it's just that angry black boy, that's just that angry black woman. But we got so much rejection built up in us. And we was programmed to think, oh, life just happened. Nothing in life just happened.
Right.
It's a reason behind everything that happened.
Right.
So I realized that, and I was going through that. I'm looking like, and you know, I tell people all the time, I had a conversation with my dad at 35 that I should have had when I was 14.
Facts.
But we was just programmed to, oh, your dad was this, or your dad was that. You know, then I had a conversation with him. My whole life changed. I changed my son. I got a little 14-year-old. From the time he was born, when he was born, I was in school. So I took a year off. I came back home. I took a year off. I went back to California. From 2 to 12, everybody would say I was a good dad because they seen the financial things, like the Disney World trip. Like my son had some crazy birthday parties. Like I used to rent out. I'm talking about this whole skating rink. I rent out the whole skating rink. I rent out the whole club.
Right.
But I wasn't there like physically. So last summer, it was my first time like really just sitting down and getting to know my son. Like, and it did something to him because he told me like, Dad, I was in darkness. I'm like, you was in darkness. And you know, he stayed in Atlanta, so he came here. He come here every summer. And I was like, let me just sit down and get to know my son.
Right.
get to know the things he liked, what he liked to do. Chelsea, he drew me a picture. He liked to draw. He drew me a picture. He had a video game, music, and his family. And he had it like linked to some chain. And he said, if you take these away, he'll like his life gone. And it blew me and my wife. I'm looking like, so that day I was like, I got to, get to know my son.
Right.
And I made an impact in his life in 2 months that I did in 12 years just by being there.
Being there.
We just get caught up in the money. We taking care of them, but just being there.
Right.
Just the impact. Just
right.
being there.
Right.
And that just, when I learned that and I read that in a book, if you look at the percentages, I don't care if you black, white, Chinese, if a father's not in the home, these are statistics. 75% from I want to say rapists come from father's home. Like 80% of people who are in prison come from father's home. High school dropouts come from father's home. Like if you look at the percentage, and we just get caught up in, oh, he don't take care of this and this and that, just being present. And that go back to me and my dad. And people look at the story, when I tell the story, people look at it the wrong way. I just gave you the statistics of a father being present, right?
Right.
So when I first met my dad, I don't think I told many people the story. I never told no platform anyway. When I first got the plug, I was 19. It's my dad first just came home from prison. Dad did like 15 years, 17 years. I'm a freshman in college. And I'm in California. So the school I went to in California called Mendocino County. It's the capital of marijuana. It's the capital of marijuana. I had a Mustang, Alabama plates, drop top. I'm in California. They love this car.
Right.
They call me Bama. One day I'm talking about this Mexican kept following me all the time. I'm from the South, so I get the feeling like, man, the girl I was talking to at the time, why this nigga keep on following me? Like, this nigga, what's wrong with this nigga? He keep following me. Like, every day he following me.
Right.
So, finally, like, one day, he followed me again, and she was like, baby, just hear what he wanted. I'm like, oh, for one, I'm scared. Because I'm too far from home. And I see this Mexican keep following me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then another, I'm defensive. We from the South.
Right.
Like, I'm ready to fight now.
Right. Like, because why you following me?
Right. But I'm still like, I ain't.
Right.
Still, like, I'm 19. I'm in California. I got to see what's going on. So
right.
I finally hear him out. It's a place called Shots where all the people hang out at. You've been in college. People have different places. I was called Shots. So I finally sit down with him. He like, man, he give me an address. He like, come to this address out of school. I'm like, these niggas finna kill me, man. Like, so I get the girl I talked to. I said, you got to go with me. He want me to meet at this address.
Not you gonna take the girl.
Yeah. So I gotta take somebody. She from California, so she know what's going on.
One man, one side. One go, we all go.
So I went. When I say I went, man, I never seen nothing like this day in my life. Now, before I told you now, from 11 to 19, I'm from the projects, but I never seen drugs. I never was involved. I was like one of them kids, like I was in sports, Malderb, spelling bee, like I was really temp.
Right.
Like I ain't have my first drink until I was 21.
Right.
So I get there, it's a warehouse full of weed. I'm looking like, hell. He was like, you know what to do with this? I'm like, I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue. So at the time, I told this on my only platform, I told it on my pastor. I said at the time, I felt like that was a blessing from God. Because I was struggling in college. I'm in junior college. So, junior college is a step to get to the university. I'm struggling in college. My mama was not working at the time. We struggling.
Right.
So I already had in my mindset, like, I'm finna get this, I'm finna put my folks on. I had just had this conversation with my brother before I left, man. I'm finna go. I don't know where it's gonna come from, but we finna be straight.
Right.
Got the plug. Call my dad. If I can call my dad right now, what I'm finna tell you, this is what he told me. I said, hey man, you still get down? He said, ain't school bus yellow? So I sent the dumber mission home. This is like in 2009, 8. Mm-hmm. Niggas ain't Like, this was way back then, before they started rapping about it, sending it through the mail, all that.
Right.
I called him. He was like, yeah, I sent the dummy mission home. It made it. When it made it, it went from there. And, man, I had came home on Christmas break. The only person I was dealing with at the time was my dad.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm paying the bills. Like, but my mama them like, bro, where you get this money from? Black dude. I'm getting it from alumni. But they don't know. You know?
Right.
I'm in junior college. We ain't got no alumni like that.
What?
It was before NIL and all that. So I get back home for Christmas break. I come back home, I had like $50,000 in cash. But the only person I'm dealing with my dad.
Right.
But I bought a car. I'm telling you, so I get all my brothers, get all my young niggas in the hood. I said, look here, y'all. You know, I show them the money first. You know, like I said, I'm 19, so they younger than me. They blow, like, bro, what you been doing? Like, they excited.
Right.
I'm telling them, like, man, calm down.
Right.
We in Avondale. I'm like, yeah, calm down. You
Right.
know, you know. But I got a whole car coming from California with a car full of marijuana. To the point we had so much marijuana at the time, they thought it was spray on. This back in 2008, 2009. So when the car get here, you know, we go out, break it down, tell them this. And from that day forward, it was just like, it took off from then.
Right.
So it's 2010 and my son was born. I took off 2011, 2012, 2013. I played in California. I leave and I go back to I got a scholarship at the University of Miami. So from that time on, like it's up, like to the point they made so much. Cause like I said, these dudes still in school.
Right.
Some of these dudes, most of these dudes are still in school.
Right.
Man, my name ring like hot. I'm talking about my name ringing, but I'm in California, so ain't no way that you know how they was. I'm in California. I'm in school.
Right.
So I'm saving all my money. So I ain't spending no money. I come home doing this something. My name ringing. We going. I'm talking about we out. I'm 30 deep. We in the club. I'm talking about it's crazy.
Movie.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Living a movie.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I get the scholarship 2013. I go to University of Miami in Fort Kent. So I'm on top of the board. I'm 10 minutes from Canada. I get there. It's like deja vu again. Like I get there. I'm a transfer junior. They only take like 24 of my credits. So they put me back as a freshman. Mm-hmm. So now I'm have to pay from school out my pocket. But I'm telling the coach, like, you know, man, you don't know who I am, dude. Like, I ain't finna do this. So they ain't accept my academic scholarship. So they accept my basketball, but I still had to pay for school.
Right.
So at the time, my little brother was wilding. My mama, you know, going through it again. And I get a text message from my little brother like at 3:00 in the morning. And it's not like him because he gonna go get it.
Right.
You know. So he texts me like, bro, since you left, nobody ain't been messing with us. Like we ain't been eating, we struggling. I'm like, so at the time, when you play sports, most people relate to this. They say family first. Now God first, family, school, then basketball.
Right.
So at the time, without you even telling you, I was the black sheep of my family. I took care of my family.
Right.
So I go in there and talk to the coach. And this is what I gave. I said, look, either you can put me in class that's going to count towards my degree and I stay, or I'm finna go home. And I was the biggest recruit since he was in college. So I went out there. I got these buildings boys all over, you know. And he was like, I can see what I can do. There ain't else I want. When I say I left everything. I'm talking about all the clothes I bought out there. Everything I bought out there I left. I had already had made a phone call. So when my folks had to hear back here from me, by the time I made it home, the truck was already at home waiting on us. So from 2013 up until 2024, it was like crazy. Like the most darkest times of my life. Like, but everybody around, I was pointing to everybody. When I say I was pointing to everybody, that I was empty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about paying for school, paying for birthdays, paying for lawyer fees, paying for funerals. I'm talking about every time Jordans come out, I'm going to buy 30 pair of Jordans. Like, I'm cars, I'm talking about everything.
Right.
Basketball game, taking my family out for a vacation. Like, anything you can think of, I was doing.
Right.
But I was empty. I was empty. But like I said, you know, like everybody around me having fun, but I wasn't. Like, but if I come out, you couldn't tell.
Right.
You wouldn't tell.
On the outside.
Yeah, you wouldn't
but
tell.
On the inside, just empty.
And then again, I wasn't showing it.
Right.
Because I was that person, like, I ain't finna let what I'm going through to make you look, you know, mess up what you got going on.
Right.
So, yeah, I was empty.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was empty. But like I said, people, you know, I know why a lot of these kids mess up, because they don't see the other stuff that come with it.
Right.
And like, and then it's the crazy thing. The times I did possibly get robbed, it was my ops. It was my partners. It was niggas that I was taking care of. The time my car stuff got broken into, it wasn't my ops. So society make black men think we have ops. We don't have ops. I tell them all the time, we don't got no ops.
Your enemies sometimes be the closest people to you.
Always gonna be the closest people to you. Not sometimes, always. Every time. Every time. It was somebody close to me. I'm talking about blood. Every time. And just dealing with all that, like, and holding it in, you know, because like I said, that's the side they don't show.
Right.
They don't show that side.
So when you just kept it in, you never just.
I always kept it in.
Always kept it in.
And it was just like, you could be doing this for so many people, and that one time you tell them no, it make you feel like you the worst person on earth.
World.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was crazy. Like, and I sit back and thought, like, now when I got on my journey, like, even much now, like, all my partners or close friends, I ain't got no, you know, when I was on my journey, it's easy to tell somebody, hey, call me if you need me when you got $300,000.
Right.
Hell, I'm gonna call you for. It's easy to tell somebody that.
Right.
Man, when I went on my journey, man, I was calling niggas. Man, it was some of the most hurtful times, like, you know, taking care of everybody then when you really need people. Them some of the most hurtful times. Like, last year I cried more than I ever cried in my entire life. Like, only person I felt like I had was God and my wife.
Right.
Like, family. I'm talking about.
But God put you in that position to let you know, like, this all you need right now. It's just me and you right now.
Yep. Because we be chasing it. You're trying to chase a feeling. It's a feeling that you're trying to chase. You're trying to fulfill.
Right.
And we looked at everything else I'm talking about, I had moved all the way to McCalla. Like, when I first moved back, I was moving to gated communities, trying to, you know, find that peace.
Mm-hmm.
But as I understand, like, that's the first thing he gave us. He said, peace I gave, peace I leave with you. The world can give it to you.
You have the right to it. It's
the world
yours,
can't take it away.
But you got to get it.
Right.
I already gave it to you. You got to get it.
He already gave it to us.
You just got to get it. You got to step into it. I'm the only way.
And when I figured
you
that
ain't
out,
gonna find it in shoes, clothes, houses, or nothing. It's gonna.
And that's what society make us think. Like, 'cause like I said, I'm talking about from gated communities I was staying in to moving all the way out to, you know, far out. And people don't tell you that. When you know, yeah, we popping bottles, but I'm gonna go back to this empty place. Everybody had fun around me. I looked like I had fun because I bought everything and I looked good.
Right.
But I'm going back to this house, and it's empty.
Jesus.
And, you know, it had me even much with my girl. Like, I tell people all the time, you know, the biggest mistake a man can make is marrying the wrong woman.
Mm-hmm.
Because society tell you, I want a bad one. No, you need a real one.
You need a real one.
Because And you seem like I have a beautiful wife.
You do.
You know, beautiful. I'm talking about physically and inside.
Right.
And like all the stuff I took her through, I'm looking like, even when I proposed to her, I asked her, I said, why you stayed? I'm talking about from cheating in and out of towns and, you know, from, you know, the drug, you know. I'm like, why you stayed? And she said, I knew Jacobie. She said, everybody else probably knew CMF, CEO, whoever they want to call it. I knew Jacobie. I knew your heart.
Right.
And, you know, being in my position, most niggas don't get that, you know. So it'd be like, it's a lot of stuff that you look at and you be like, society say this, society say that. Like, coming from where I come from and the position I was in, most either dead or in jail.
Right.
But once you really look at it and look at like them type of people God use. So most people don't get the opportunity to walk away because either God gonna make you, he gonna lay you down, he gonna put you down. And I tell people all the time, man, you better don't make a decision that it really gonna cost your life.
Right.
Because I tell people all the time, we all have the same purpose. We all have the same purpose. We just got different gifts and platforms. So when I realized that, because man, at first I'm telling you, like, I'm like, man, when I stopped, I'm like, I ain't know what to do. Because all I ever did was hustle and play sports.
Right.
I ain't know what to do. But like I said, when I just got in the Word and, you know, I knew I loved people. And before I made my nonprofit in 2020, Coded. And I feel like I always thought I had it together. I'm saying I'm finna pose with my girl, finna make a couple last chance, and I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna open up my youth centers. God had bigger plans. He had better plans. Like,
right.
And that was in 2020. So all this ain't come to fruition until 2024. And I got invited to 100 Days of Nonviolence with the Urban League. So I went around all the city schools and spoke. And I knew then, like, okay, this is my purpose. So I'm like, you know what? God, I got my purpose. I'm going to pour into the youth. I'm going to revise men.
Right.
Because they just don't know. They just don't know.
And it's so crazy how God we literally have to go through these things that we go through. He puts us in these positions to go through, like Jacobie, you had to go through everything you had to go through so you could tell each and every young man that was in that's, you know, where you was. Like, it's the way out. It's a better life. Like, and it's the reason they got to go through it. Like, it's the reason, like, for it all. Like, my platform right now, just going through what I went through as a child, coming up woman, like, it's a reason for it. So, I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, I tell the young dudes all the time now, like, I wish I had somebody could tell me what I'm telling y'all.
Right.
You get there quick. You get there quick about somebody else.
Right.
You know, you might not get lucky as me.
Right.
So you need to listen to, you know, you need to figure out and ask God why you put Jacobie in my life. Because some of them still miss it. And, you know, my granddad always told me that, like, and I just realized that until when he passed, and I'm like, dang, he gave me the blueprint. He told me, like, and I tell people all the time, like, life brings its own barriers. Like, stuff you can't control.
Right.
You ain't gonna be able to control it.
Right.
He told me, he was like, son, listen here. He said, I gave it to your dad and I gave it to your uncle. He said, don't lie, don't cheat, and don't steal. I'm like, and it ain't hit me until I got older. I'm looking like, I'm like, you know, he said, because he gonna bring his own troubles. Don't bring more troubles on yourself. And I said, damn, I did all those. And I just look back at, like, all the stuff he said. I'm looking like, I bought more burdens on myself. And that's how you find people falling into sex. They use prescription drugs, they use alcohol, they use all type of stuff to try to cope with the things that they bought on themselves. Because you cannot, I tell people all the time, you cannot escape trouble. It's coming. It's coming. Like, persecution, prosperity go hand in hand.
Right.
You're going to go through things.
Right.
But it's a reason behind everything you go through.
That's right.
But we was taught life just happened.
Mm-hmm.
No, it don't. No, it don't. So it's just like everything that I learned, I'm like, we was taught so wrong. But this is where the grace come in at.
Mm-hmm.
They wasn't taught.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell people all the time, like, you got to get that grace. You got to. I had at one point in time during my journey, I had reached out to my mom and dad, and just to get to know them, because as our parent, we just know them as mom and dad.
Right.
And when I realized and got to know them, I'm looking like, damn, my mama went through that. My daddy went through that. This whole time, I'm angry at them, or, but damn, they went through the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we call it generational curse. It's a choice.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people all the time, it's a generational choice. It's a choice.
It is. That's true. That is so true.
It's a choice.
That's true. Because it's so crazy, because I was abused, not knowing until I had a conversation. Like, I was adopted, and my adopted mom started abusing me when I was a little girl, up until being a teenager. And when I sat down with her, I was probably like 26 or 27, just wanting an apology. And that's when she came out and said, I did it because my mama did it to me.
It'll blow you.
Like,
it will blow you.
Like, and see, I was like, wow. Like, I was blown, because I was just like, this is the crazy thing that blowed me. You had a choice. Mm-hmm. You didn't even have to adopt me. Mm-hmm. You had a choice to heal. You had a choice to get yourself together to be a better mother, so you wouldn't, but you didn't.
Another thing we do in our culture, we don't have a conversation. We sweep them on the rug, so we don't have them uncomfortable conversations. Mm-hmm. So we hold it on so long and get bigger and bigger. And I tell people all the time, like, whatever you don't kill in this generation, mm-hmm. it's going to be bigger than the next generation.
That's right.
So, like you said, your mom, she said she could have stopped that then. Mm-hmm. But what happened is, back then, and what I learned, I researched, either the person who did it to you died.
Mm-hmm. And that's what they did before you could ever have a conversation with them.
Now you got this whole, and I tell people all the time, like, I'm not against going to see a counselor or a therapist, mm-hmm. but that's relief. You're looking for peace.
Right. I need real healing.
And you're not going to have that real healing until you sit down and have that uncomfortable conversation. So if you look at it, like, I wonder, like, when I was a kid, I always think, like, how did it start? And you sit down. So when I went on my journey, man, I was just reaching out to older people in this family, like, man, what, such and such. Oh, why did such and such? Then I look, it started with such and such. Mm-hmm. Now, I see why my cousin was doing this. Mm-hmm. That happened to it. Mm-hmm. And it keep going on and mm-hmm. on. And we don't want to have them conversations, so we sweep it on the rug. Mm-hmm. And we go on. You knew uncle was at, I knew mm-hmm. he was doing that.
Right.
So it just, when I learned that, I'm like, we just got to stop. Mm-hmm. Like, everything that in this world it's a choice that kept going, that even more down to politics. Mm-hmm. It's a choice that kept going on and on, because nobody stopped the situation. Nobody never stopped. So I knew then, like, it kept going till it ran to me.
Right.
And, it been tough. I'm talking about, I've been crucified.
Yeah.
I've been crucified.
Right.
Like, I've been talked about. I'm talking about, said I had lost my mind. Somebody put something in my drink. I'm talking about, I had been, everybody else's problem we were going through, I was the reason for it. So I'm talking about, talk about bad. I'm talking about, and it wasn't about nobody, no ops.
It's family.
So,
it's family.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel you on that. But you know what? If you think about how they talked about Jesus, the crazy thing is, people say, oh, they nailed him to the cross and that he walked up on that cross. Mm-hmm. He did that and took the pain. Yep. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want nothing to numb the pain. He took it. So therefore, you know he got your back. He coming behind you. Oh yeah, y'all talking about him now. Talk about him bad. But see, the more you stand your word, and the more you let him strengthen you up, y'all could say what you want to say. But what come behind it, that shine behind it, what's coming behind it, the Malcolm like that.
Yeah.
He ain't that crazy.
Yeah.
He crazy, but yeah.
That's what I told somebody, man. I said, I'm not trying to compare myself to Jesus. I said, but I did everything. I felt like I went everything he went through, but died a physical death.
Right.
Like,
because you got a new life. You living your new life. Your old life, you died. Yeah, you did that. You did die.
I tell people I died.
You died.
I'm talking about even much just at one point in time. I'm talking I had gave everything I own away. I don't know if you seen that.
I did, because I was on Snap trying to get some of them Alexander McQueen.
I'm talking about I gave everything I own away.
Right.
I'm talking about it was like, I think about it, I'm looking like, oh man, that was just, I never lived like that. I'm talking I had rooms full of shoes and clothes and jewelry and hats and like, I'm talking about Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Alexander McQueen, and Prada, like, because that's a feeling I was trying to fulfill. Put my picture, put it on Instagram, get 1,000 likes, get wet. Once I take the outfit off, I'm gonna do the same thing. And people don't understand, like, the over and over, it's a feeling you trying to fulfill.
But you never got to fulfill it.
Never got to fulfill me.
Never got it.
I never got it.
To now.
Man, I tell people all the time, like, this the most happiest, most peaceful I ever been. I ain't got nowhere near the money I had. Nowhere near. Like, even with me going to get a job, that was my first job that I ever had. And I ain't gonna lie, the first couple, when I first got my first time, when my director told me something about a week in the hole, and I was expecting my paycheck, I'm like, nigga, I ain't signed up for that. I don't know what this is. This wasn't on the description. Who is this? Who is the week in the hole?
Right.
So that first time blew me. When I first got my paycheck,
right, I
said, "Oh no, I can't do this. Work. I can't do this." But then I had to realize. I tell people all the time, this is not my life. It don't belong to me.
Right.
This podcast do not belong to you.
Right.
So when I realized that, it was easy for me to go clock in, cause it don't belong to me. My life don't belong to me no more.
Right.
So it was easy for me to go clock in and make the money I make.
Right.
So it's like everything I do now, I do for, the purpose. Like, I want people to see my light and say, like, okay, I want that, what he got. Like, who gave you that? Like, I ain't chasing no money no more. I'm chasing my purpose. Like, since I've been on this journey, when, Matthew 6, and God said, seek me, and everything will start chasing you. Like, I'm really experiencing that now. So I had
to turn money and everything for to start chasing you.
Man, I had to turn down stuff because it's just certain opportunities. Like, and I tell people all the time, you got to keep your perception open and you got to be in tune with your spirit,
right?
To know, like, I had job opportunities and I had to realize, like, how is that gonna go back to God? How is that me working that job gonna give God the glory?
Right.
I'm good.
Right.
My purpose is pouring into people, pouring into men and the youth, and leading many people back to God as I can.
That's right.
That's everybody's purpose.
That's right.
I tell people all the time, like, I don't care what you tell different, that's everybody's purpose. We all just have different gifts and platforms to do it.
But you got to step in, you got to ask some guys, show me what's my purpose. Like, you got to build that relationship with him so you can be able to hear from him. Mm-hmm. See exactly what it is you're supposed to be doing. So what would be some motivational words or encouragement that you would tell, like, young men, young guys coming up? There's,
For one, keep God first. Keep God in the center. Don't let society tell you, because society will tell you that you got to have this type of money. You got to drive this type of car. You got to live in this type of neighborhood. I tell kids all the time, we'll categorize it 3 things: malehood, boyhood, and manhood. Mm. You got some guys would never get to manhood because they still caught up into what society say what make you a man. Society said make you a man. How many women you sleep with? How many dudes you want shot or beat up, or how many? What kind of car you drive? What kind of clothes and shoes you wear?
Right.
I told my wife this the other day. I said I feel like I'm a man now. A man is, it's not being selfish, serving. One, I tell kids all the time, serve. What we was put here for, to serve, not to be served.
Right.
So serve.
Right. A man can lead.
Being a example for that next generation to say like I said, good character. Like I tell people all the time, like it's hard what we doing. If it wasn't hard, everybody be doing
it. Right.
It's hard. So I tell a kid, man, bro, this cool. Like, finding your identity in Christ, man, it take a lot. It take a lot of meekness and humble about yourself.
Right.
Because everybody can't do this. So just keep going. Like I said, life gonna go throw it curveballs and all type of stuff, and you got to fight back.
Right.
That's why I tell them I've been fighting. It been hard, but I've been fighting.
Right.
And I know that God ain't gonna put me more on than I can bear. So it's easy for me. I'd rather fight with God than fight without God.
And you know what? I think it's easy too when because I've seen God work miracles, and I know mama couldn't do this, daddy couldn't do this, uncle couldn't do this, couldn't nobody have done this but God. So it's like, okay, God, I know you got my back. It's like when they say it takes faith of a mustard seed, like literally, especially when you already know I did it.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have made it through this car accident, or I would have made it through being an alcoholic or drug addiction if I wouldn't have made it. But I know God is the one that healed me, or God is the one that could get me through this. So when them hard battles come,
gotta keep going.
I know God got my back.
And I knew then, like after that car wreck, like if you would have seen the car and you would have seen me out the car, you was like, well, you weren't in that car.
Nobody but God. Nobody.
Like, me and the police argued. Like, you went in that car. Man, I was in that car. And so they had to get me out the windshield. Like, it so happened the dude who was behind me, when he seen it, he came and got me. He had to, get me out through bust the windshield to get me out. Like, and when he seen it, he was like, it tripped him out. Like, it was tripping everybody out. Because I look how I look now.
Right.
And I knew then, like, man, like I cried that night. Like my wife tried to get me to go to the hospital. I said, nah, I just need to lay down. And when I laid down, God showed me so much. Like, and I knew then, like, you know what, Lord, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life living for you. And I don't care who would make mad, what relationship, in. Like, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life, because I tell people all the time, you gotta have your own relationship.
You got to.
And my example to even much know God was real. I ain't had that example growing up. To a certain extent, you had people in your life going to church and doing this, but you ain't see the fruits
for yourself
of their life to say like, I want that, or I want to see if this real.
Mm-hmm.
You got some people make God look bad.
Mm-hmm.
So how I'm gonna tell a non-believer how would a non-believer look at me in your life and say, oh, I want what Jacobie and Chelsea got.
Right.
If we ain't the light.
Right.
So the example I had to say I want that, what they had, it wasn't a good example.
Right.
So I had to get the example and know him for myself.
Right.
And like I said, I just look at it from me running the streets up until, now, I can't tell. I'm not going to tell you what you believe. I ain't gonna make you believe what I believe.
Right.
Just respect my belief. Nobody can't tell me God ain't real.
Can't nobody tell me God ain't real. I promise. Facts.
Nobody can't tell me. And I ain't come from no spiritual family.
Right.
But I have experience in myself that I know God real.
Facts.
Nobody can't tell me that. And I'm not gonna force. And this is like even with me, when I went on my journey, I ain't forced it on nobody.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't forced it on nobody. But I'm talking about my partners. I'm thinking my rising partner, like, oh, Kobe tripping. Like, what's wrong with Kobe? If you know me, I've been going to church. Even when I was hustling, I went to church every Sunday. I'm talking in church, pocket full of money, probably smelling like the club from the other night, but I'm in church.
Right. And that's all that matters.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, when I went on my journey and when I started, God told me this. He said, you got to be transparent, you got to be vulnerable, and you got to be unapologetic. Because there's so many people choose hushing because you choose hushing. Now I'm going to use you, I'm going to use that broken person
to bring my people
back to me. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't studying what nobody was saying. I had to listen to what God said. Mm-hmm. So I had to do the stuff I was doing. So when I started posting and started doing all this stuff, it blew everybody like, where that come from?
Right.
But they ain't understand the conversation that me and God had. He told me this, like, you transparent, unapologetic, and vulnerable. Vulnerable because people gonna say some things that might get to you, but you know, don't worry about that. I got you. So I had to do that. And since I, since I started it, I get so many people write me. Like, I'm talking about thugs. Because I tell people all the time, people want out. Some of them just don't know how to get out.
They scared.
Yeah, they don't know how to get out. So I tell people all the time, I went from selling dope to selling hope.
That's right.
I'm a hope dealer.
Hope dealer.
Yeah, I'm a hope dealer.
I wear that shirt. I'm a hope dealer.
I'm a hope dealer. Because you understand, like, you don't get to sit down with so many people that, ran the street for that long. They either dead or in jail.
I'm still amazed. That's crazy.
Or they strung out. They either dead, they're in jail, they strung out.
Right.
So I knew God had his hands on me the whole time. He had his hands on me.
19 to now.
He had his hands on me.
And still he got his hands on you.
So I could tell, man, just keep going.
That's right.
Find it, get a relationship with God yourself. And you do that by just, first you got to acknowledge that you won't change. That's the first step.
Right.
Acknowledging that you won't change. And, seek him and keep him centered. And, man, I can tell you, he'll do the rest.
And let me say this. Ain't no perfect way of going to him.
Mm-mm.
You don't got to sit down with your free calls. Dear God, there's no perfect. Talk to him like you talk to your partner, man. Look, God, look, hey, I'm going through it right now. Like, I need you. There's no perfect way to talk to him. He just wants you to go. Even if you just give him 30 seconds, if you ain't never gave him no time and you go give him 30 seconds, just imagine what he'll do in 30 days just for you, just giving him that time.
Some people,
that's what he wants.
I feel like some people make it so complicated, so it make it hard for, some people trying to, because even with me, until I realized and I educated and I studied, and God, I tell people, well, you got to leave that perception open, because God will put people in your life that you ain't asked for.
Right. But
if that perception ain't open, then you're going to miss it.
Right.
It's just now, I promise you, I could be in the gas station and somebody say something, hey, how you doing? In my head, I'm like, God, why the man spoke to me? Trying to figure out, like,
Right.
And sometimes come full circle. So it's just like, you got to have that, leave that perception open. And like I tell people all the time, I got most of my wisdom from bombs. A person look at a bomb and look like, I ain't even talk to him. Mm-hmm. Man, I got so much wisdom in him.
Knowledge.
Mm-hmm. I got so much knowledge in him.
Mm-hmm.
But you missed it because you're looking at his situation and feel like you can't learn that from him.
Because everybody always looking on the person from the outside.
Like you can't learn that from him.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's just like I leave my perception open. I look at anybody, like I go speak at the parole board on first Fridays and Thursdays. And shout out to Pastor Doug. Mm-hmm. And I be learning so much from them people in there. But they'll come when I come in there, they'll look at me like, oh, you can't learn. I learn so much. Right. I don't look at nobody's situation and say I can't, and just look at that person's situation and look down on that person. Because if you do that, you already missed the assignment.
Right.
You already missed the lesson.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And people don't understand. You gotta go through it to grow through it. You gotta grow through it. Some people want the blessing, they don't want the lesson. You got to get the lesson.
You got to.
So I see it all the time when people be, oh, I'm finna move, I'm finna do this, I'm finna do that. You already missed this. You missed the lesson. It started with you.
It started with you.
Like, I could have easily, when I went on my journey, I could have easily called because I got rich friends.
Mm-hmm.
Real talk. I had rich friends. I could have easily called my friends and say, hey, man, I'm messed up from the NBA to the NFL to the streets to the rap. I could have easily called one of them and say, hey, man, I'm messed up. Look out for me. Get what? I would be still in that same position.
Right.
Because I ain't get the lesson.
Add more burns on. Now I owe them.
I ain't get the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
So some people trying to skip the part. They want the blessing, but they don't want the lesson. You got to get the lesson.
You got to.
You got to get the lesson.
That's true.
So, like I said, I'm here. Like, any youth guys, older guys. I got an ebook I wrote. It called Big Step. Little Step, Big Faith.
Mm-hmm.
It showed the whole steps of my journey from, when I started to, my everyday 10 steps, to walk this journey. Daily prayers that I did, little small things that I did. That's what it's called.
That's awesome.
Little Step, Big Faith.
The ebook? How do you?
It's on my page called Everybody Wins.
Okay.
Or I can send it to you.
Okay.
My nonprofit Everybody Wins.
Okay.
With a E instead of I.
Okay.
For West Side, East Side, North Side, South Side. When you work together, everybody wins.
Right.
And wealth, education, spiritual, and nutrition.
Okay.
So like I said, I'm free. If anybody, fellas, men, I can walk you through it. I can help you get through that, because that's what we need. Society make you feel like, oh, man, be vulnerable.
Right.
Share your emotions.
Right.
You can't hold them in.
Right. Right. Because that's another statistic thing. Like, guys, you ain't supposed to cry. You ain't supposed to feel no type of way. You got to be a man. Got to be tough. No. How you gonna be able to
kill yourself trying to do that, man? You gonna kill yourself, man. Be in community. God send people on your journey, like. And I tell people all the time. I learned this from one of my mentors. You can't become a better man unless you walk with better men.
That's right.
You're going to have somebody. It's like 3 men. You're going to have somebody pointing to you and you pointing to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Acts 2:42.
Mm-hmm.
You got to surround yourself with better men. You ain't going to become a better man until you surround yourself with better men.
Right. That's right.
It's like now when I go and meet, I'm not the smartest one I'm around. I don't have the most money. I ain't the most intelligent. So, but when you get around better men, you become a better man.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, I thank you so much for coming on this podcast. This was awesome.
Thank you for having me.
More than welcome. More than welcome. And that's the end of the podcast.